All right. Welcome, everybody, to our 1 o'clock talk with Timothy DeBlock, who will be speaking on responding to a job scam. And I turn it over to you, Tim.
Thank you. Hi. Um, so let's get right into this. So my name is Timothy D. Block. I am the manager of security assurance and engineering at Premise Health. I do have a marketing slide, but I have put it in later when it actually is appropriate to use. So here's the agenda for this. Why this talk? Story time. Talk about the response, attacker motivation, defense, and then if there's any questions that you have. So why this talk? Well, I want to get some awareness around this kind of scam. This did happen recently for us. And it's not something I've ever had to respond to. I've responded to website defacements and all sorts of other security incidents, but never to one this unique and this interesting. And we got a lot of really good insights into a job scam as they used our brand and how we kind of responded to it, and just in general, didn't impact a lot of our employees other than the people responding to it, but it does impact people, certainly in this job market. So we'll go through some lessons learned. And really, it's just a cool story. Cool in the sense that it's unique and interesting. Okay, so story time. So I was heading into Monday, your typical Monday morning, right? We started getting informed about this scam in our security inbox, which my team monitors, and it was someone impersonating Premise Health as a recruiter. Shortly thereafter, our CISO Joey Johnson sends us another email regarding the scam. And this kind of sent us into, red alert. And we start kind of investigating what's going on, and kind of here's what we saw and where we kind of started. So I have taken out a lot of our people's names and, the person that was being scammed as well. Dearest applicant, we're thrilled that you'd like to join us at company. We have received your application from a certain job board. Your qualifications are a good fit for the position requirements. Your interview will be conducted on a live, secure PPTP encrypted text chat with a lot of letters and words there. Talks about the Better Business Bureau, and they ended up telling them the person that they're contacting. They used Wire, and I took out a lot of our job board vendors and people we had to work with, but I want to leave Wire in there because I think everybody would have gone to Signal right away, and they were really easy to work with and helped us really respond to this type of scan. So essentially, they're going to be conducting an interview through this platform, the secure platform. And this kind of happened at the end of October. And we started getting wind of it in early November. There is the usual grammar and spelling errors that you're going to get from a scam. And they kind of registered a different top-level domain. If you don't know, there are now 1,514 top-level domains as of June 2020, according to ICANN. And here's just a small list of the top-level domains, right? There's some good ones in there, like LOL, I think Menon is in there, Yoga, Zone, WTF. So they've just gone crazy. And so, pretty much anybody can just register one of these and pretend to be your company. So continuing on, this person responded, "Hi, thank you for your email. I proceed with the instructions provided. I'm just waiting for the person to accept my request. Dear person, further interview you had with us, we are pleased to appoint you based on how well you have answered the questions given to you during your interview and special consideration from your interview manager. Please find the attached details, offer letters. If you choose to accept the offer, please sign scan, send it back. Don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions." You can see down there that they have a job offer letter and then also a job descriptium. They spelled description wrong. And the person that reported this sent us all this stuff. Of course, if you're opening PDFs from a job scam, you do want to try to open those on a machine that is not not going to get owned. That's one of the checks that we did. And so now they've been given the opportunity, the paperwork kind of begins. Again, you can kind of see the grammar and spelling issues. And this was kind of the job offer letter, just something you rip off the internet somewhere, right? and it's kind of catered to the job that they put in the company, they put in the position. $45 per hour during your 1 week training, $55. This is another reason why you shouldn't let internal documents release. This is not our job offer letter. And then here's kind of a zoomed in view of some of the other issues that we can kind of see within this, right? So there's spacing errors, there's coding issues, grammar and spelling issues as well. This kind of is where our find word puzzles we used to do as kids kind of comes in handy when you're looking for this kind of stuff. This is another version. And yes, my slide is not crooked. It's actually the PDF itself was put in crooked there. So this is kind of where doubt starts is creeping in, right? And I'm thrilled and super excited about this opportunity. I'd like to know a little bit more information about the position itself and when its start date. Also mentioned I'll be doing a background check. Wonder if that will be before starting or not. Moreover, I got the edit. This is working on site, and now from the letter that you have sent, it seems that this is work from home, right? So there's some conflicting information here. They responded. They responded to the questions very briefly. This is an immediate hire. Once you have the offer letter signed and back to you, you'll be connected with your team leader immediately. The background check will be conducted later on, and your team lead will brief you more about it. Below is a copy of the attachment of job description. Just sounds wonky. I appreciate the explanation. They have more questions. Will the team leader contact me through a phone call? Also, the company provide all the equipment. And at this point, this person figured out, hey, this might be a scam. And that's what we kind of saw over, a few week period where people were reaching out to us, double checking. And then a little after, they got in contact with our talent acquisition person, which was actually used in this scam. They reached out to them. And then shortly after that, they got a call from a male voice. And at that point, they felt like they knew it was a scam, and kind of told them that they're calling the police. We've seen a lot of people impersonated, CEO, CFO, COO, and now it seems like our talent acquisition people, which we shared this with them, and it made them quite uncomfortable for them to be doing that. And these are people that are supposed to be out there. But a few days after this person reached out to us, we actually got some more information from other people, from another person who actually gave us their transcript from the wire conversation. And so we'll kind of walk through it here because it's very interesting, and you can start seeing that this is a very, very elaborate ruse, if you will. And it's just some really interesting stuff. So here's a conversation where the scam started. There's job details, who'd they be working with. You will supervise lower administrative staff, so we'll enter details. I'm not going through the entire chat logs. It was it's like tens of pages of a Word document, but I did pull out some of the interesting bits, and we'll kind of go through that. So how many lower admin staff are the billing software? So we're getting some kind of details. We'll be working with lower admin staff that are on 2 separate interfaces. They were told about our company benefits. This is probably stuff that they may have found online in reviews and things like that. The usual stuff: medical, dental, visual, unlimited vacation. That's a new thing. Credit card debt payoff, and PTO, 401k retirement plan, a free gym membership through our partnership with over 200 gyms and fitness centers around the country. And this is to ensure your well-being at work is not just a value; it is a priority. The company is setting the bar high. What a wonderful, viable concept that truly allows employees to give and also receive. So some of those were true. We do have social events. We don't have unlimited PTO. And the interesting, the other thing they kind of talk about was 45 business days for equipment to arrive. There was also conversations about 2 weeks of training. So this was like, there's a lot of effort being put into this. And here's the list of equipment, company equipment and cost. They're saying it's going to cost, they're going to send them a check for $9,689. So here's where we start seeing some of the scam parts, right? I don't know if they're going for that full amount, but if you can string people along for that kind of money and say, oh no, the money's coming, just go buy this stuff. And they might get quite a bit of money out of them. They have a special ordering vendor, which is interesting. They also, not in this one, didn't show up for obvious reason. They asked for the bank they use, right? So if they're going to collect a bunch of information, this isn't just trying to get them for financial, but it might be, yeah, send us your bank for direct deposit, right? Or I've heard of some companies asking to log into social media. So there's a lot of information that starts getting pulled out of this. It's not necessarily just for financial. It's stuff that then can be used later on. So this kind of ends the day for them. They sign off for the day and then continue the next day at 8 a.m. And we start with some pleasantries, which just feels really creepy. But this is, anyone that does social engineering or understands social media, this is meant to build rapport. So they're not just trying to get to the end game here. They're trying to ease them into it. And this is also why you want to keep information off the internet, because there was some stuff pulled from one of our talent acquisition people's profiles and things like that. So they've looked at Glassdoor. They clearly did some research on our acquisition person. They pulled for the wire accounts. They pulled pictures from the talent acquisition folks and put them up there. And they pulled them from different places. You can just go to Google Images and find some interesting pictures from Facebook and other stuff. So not shown here. There was some more chit chat on plans for the day. The person asked who the person is voting for, and surprise, surprise, they respond that they're also voting for that person. Imagine that. Again, building rapport, building a connection. And then this is where they start working on several tasks with like hour-long time constraints. These are all the different documents they had them do. So you can see there's like 6 different documents they had them go look up different stuff with the SEC and write working from home and all these different types of documents. And then once they completed, they were given details on paid training, work hours, things like that. To continue the creepiness, this is where they're pulling out a lot of information. So there's more chit chat. Talking about their family, things like that. So again, just kind of building rapport with the person and trying to get them to fall into the scam. And then we move into steps on getting employment and equipment set up. And this is where the scam really starts here. We're going to start by doing HR, mailbox login, things like that. Your unique user login will be paired with your device only once you logged in. Your profile to start your shift, it will start to read. And then as soon as there's a lot of grammar issues and spelling and all sorts of funky stuff. And then you can see some compliance there. Wonderfully, I will comply with the process. Luckily for us, our defenders are offering us a discount on all orders from our company, which expires 12 a.m. Sunday. So I think this was the beginning of the week. So again, they're trying to get them to string them throughout the week. And trying to give some urgency around, just get this done. And now we can kind of start seeing some of the end game here. I'm going to guide you through the step so follow my instructions carefully, right? We're going to complete your device activation over the air through Apache Secure with Walmart Connect. So we'll be making use of a Walmart Visa gift card, which you can get at Walmart, Safeway, CVS, or Walgreens stores around you. Okay, I understand. Totally makes sense. Yeah, we need a Walmart gift card to start connecting our devices to an enterprise network. Don't purchase them online. I wonder why. Probably because they're tracked a little bit more. Of course, they run into issues with e-cards because they're a scammer. So the physical start is much more preferable. Following our order discount, the cost of this order drops from $550 to $350. Ooh, discount. So we got to go get it now. So you're to head to the store and get a single Walmart Visa gift card, for which we'll be using in this regard. You will receive a full reimbursement for this out-of-pocket expense through your startup funding, which you'll be getting next week. Rest assured. Yeah, the money's on the way. So I am to prepay for this gift card in lieu of the company providing this. Yeah. So you got to be thinking the attacker is going, yeah, I got him. But at this point, the person figured out the scam and reported it to us. That's why we had such great chat logs. I can't express enough how awesome when we see this kind of stuff. Would like to go do it ourselves, kind of do that, but we were actually more interested in trying to get it shut down. I'm sure some bigger companies do this stuff all the time, but this was kind of a first for me. So it kind of starts with 350, and that could again escalate into $9,600, right? We don't know how far because we didn't, this person didn't pay in and didn't have to go get the next thing. But who knows how many have fallen for it? Like I said, we got lots of reports on people reporting the scam to us. Job postings were up for quite some time before they started engaging people to try and scam them out of it. I think it was like a 3-week period. So you can get a lot of people, right? So you have like, say 300 people apply. And if you have like 10% fall for the scam, and there's always someone that falls for it, at 350 a pop, that's $10,000 within a week's worth of work, right? So we did see quite a bit of fallout from this. I won't go into details on them, but it's people thinking they're getting a new job. So you don't know if they quit their job to fall for the scam. Because that's made it seem like, yeah, you have the job. Let's, you can go and put your 2 weeks in, things like that. It was a really, really unfortunate thing for a lot of people. And this is really hard to account for because it's the company being impersonated. It's not it's not someone trying to attack us. It's someone using our brand to try and get some money out of people. So it's not a good thing, unfortunately, and it's really hard to account for. So how did we get here, right? So of course the attackers registered a top-level domain with our CEO's name. They used a burner email and phone number. I think people in the security community should understand that those are throwaway. So there wasn't really a whole lot we could do with that information. They did scrape some of our job postings and posted them on a site that we did not do. It actually took us some time to actually find the actual job postings. This is quite an elaborate scheme, right? These were the job postings. You can kind of see these were up for at times. There a lot of them are very generic. I imagine they played around with some of them to see if they could, see which one would get them the most things. And so these were postings, that just kind of, again, were scraped. I didn't want to pull up an actual posting, but you can kind of see some of the titles that they're pulling from, right? And this did get filtered from this job board onto some other job boards there's so many different job boards. We went and talked to our IT rep for HR, and it's hundreds of job posting sites, right? And anybody that is in talent acquisition or has worked in there knows how difficult it can be. So they're trying to get it out there to as many people as follow. So that's kind of how we got there, right? So the motivation, I think we kind of talked about some of them already. There's one that's financially motivated. Again, they were pulling out sensitive information, bank information, who they're voting for, security question type of things, trying to, really pull as much out of it. So if they don't fall for the scam, then maybe they had them submit, a W-2 or some other, like I said, direct deposit, and then you potentially have banking information. There's things about paying for training materials. So they talked about training quite a bit. And so they could have them, this is where some of the resale market comes in, getting those Walmart gift cards. That's, they're going to go online, buy something with it, and then they're going to sell it for cheaper. So they only get like a percentage of the actual 350. But again, it could have been thousands of dollars if someone's, falling for it, and people do, unfortunately. It's what it is. There could be some disgruntled employees too, right? It could be an internal person, especially if they're disgruntled. And I didn't think it was, because again, some of the job offered, some of the stuff they got right, some of it they got wrong. So it looked more like an outside person. So why Premise Health, right? And of course, I do, because I am using my company slides, I do have to put in a obligatory marketing slide. So Premise Health, Premise Health operates health and wellness centers for large organizations, serving their employees and dependents. We are the leading direct healthcare company. operating 800 plus wellness centers in 45 states and Guam for more than 1,600 of the largest commercial municipal employers in the U.S. As the premier provider of employer-based healthcare, Premise offers unmatched access, enhanced clinical quality, and exceptional member experience. This result is healthcare that raises the bar and delivers true financial return for all to pay the employer. Ultimately, we build out clinics on client sites. So we've got everything from local and state governments to people in the top 1,000 or clients in the top 1,000. So and we build pretty much a clinic on the campus that employees can go to. We also have near site stuff where we put a clinic in a city and then multiple clients can go there. Why is that important? Well, we have some interesting clients that people might want to go work for as providers or office staff or anything. Like I said, we have 800 plus wellness centers, so we've got them all over the country, and we're getting bigger. We just made an acquisition back in Q3, like right around September. So that was announced. We made the Washington Post for passenger COVID-19 screening. So if you're flying some of the airlines, then in getting COVID tests, we're getting out there, our name out there, and they're wanting to improve a lot of the marketing, talking about the company. They feel like they haven't done a good enough job of it in the past, and they want to do more of it. So the more we get out there, the more we become a target. So it's all those things that kind of come together to make us Premise Health a target. And putting these slides together, here's our Glassdoor. You might notice something there that will also make us an interesting target. I don't know if you see it yet. We're almost there. I'll give you a few more seconds. Hiring surge. So yes, we are hiring apparently, which made me kind of facepalm a little bit. That it's why do we need to call that out? I don't know why we need to call that out on Glassdoor that we're hiring. But it's there, right? And the job market with what it is right now is not it's not ideal. So a lot of people are with the pandemic and everything. A lot of people are concerned about losing their job, and so they're looking for something more stable. And so if you find the company that's hiring, it makes us a much more attractive than some other companies. We're also a healthcare company, which is has its benefits as well during a pandemic. So and if we made an acquisition this year, it kind of says kind of some of the financial health of the company. So those are some of the things to kind of think about. So defense. So what did we do? Well, first thing was we worked with our internal departments, HR, legal, our operations side of things, and then our other IT people. We reached out to the domain provider and other technologies for takedowns. This is where I said like Wire was really easy to work with. We did it through email. We tried to go through internal reps. One of the lessons learned that we kind of thought about was if you can identify the emails as part of the scam, if you can get a hold of the job posting site or whoever and see if they have the list of emails, you could potentially have them email or the company email out saying, hey, there's a scam going around, please don't fall for it. I don't we didn't get to that point because all the information was lost in our urgency to shut everything down. But if we can stop that, then we can, make it so people aren't getting scammed, hopefully. But I think there could be some legal and some other stuff, ramifications from that, right? And the company, the job posting site might not be willing to play ball. I don't know. But it is something that could, just in a moral sense, really help these victims out. For takedowns also, we went the copyright trademark route, where we have, if they're not responding, some of these domain register providers don't respond very well, some do. Microsoft recently took down the ransomware infrastructure. I think it was like Ryuk or something, using copyright stuff. So you can absolutely go the legal route, especially if you're not able to get any kind of response from people. Of course, take down the communication accounts. Like I said already, Wire was really easy to work with and responded very quickly. We also went and searched the rest of it for our other talent acquisition folks trying to shut it down. Again, these things are, you can just continually make new accounts. Having these sites like ban that top level domain that's pretending to be yours, or whatever domains being used, and again, you can try to get all the top level domains, but it's probably going to be super expensive. And then there's all the misspellings, right? For Premise Health, we've seen the R and the N replace an M, which is much harder to detect than some of the other easy ones that we see as well. And then we try to monitor for new domains. Unfortunately, there's an unlimited amount of them. So again, it's really hard. We are evaluating our own tooling to monitor for this stuff. I like to partner with the marketing folks to try and see if, because they're out there constantly looking at stuff. I've got things like Google Alerts up. I've got none of this stuff. This is more just awareness of what's out there in the company and what potentially makes us a target. This was one that, you can't necessarily see new job postings, and there's a billion sites for job postings now. So it's very hard to kind of identify some of it. It's essentially looking for a needle in a haystack when you're trying to find some of these job postings. So trying to monitor for new domains when they're stood up. We are building our own internal program for that plugs into our SIEM. I'm hoping to open source that in the future. So I'll kind of put that up on Twitter if we end up being able to do that. But yeah, that's something we didn't really see anything out there. I don't know if people have suggestions. That'd be great. Would love some collaboration on this kind of presentation around some of the things that if other people are seeing this, or if you're seeing, or if you've created something that's open source. There's tons of tools out there. But we didn't really find anything that really necessarily met our need for trying to find when these new domains are being registered and that could potentially be used against it. That's actually something else I forgot to put in here was as the top level domain, they just set it to redirect to our main page. So it made it look even more legit. When you clicked on that top level domain, it just redirected to our page, which you can't, it's hard to account for that as well. And then, of course, like I mentioned, you can buy up all the top level domains, maybe not 1,500 of them, but you can look for some of the obvious ones. I'd say XYZ, pretty much everyone knows that's very much malware. The premishealth.wtf would probably not be one that, be a little bit harder for people to fall for. But you probably want to get your basic ones. And this is where our IT people were really great. They went out and, bought up a bunch of domains that seemed fairly obvious. Premishealth.health. Is probably one that we probably want to go ahead and grab. And then, of course, I like doing presentations. I like doing stuff like that. So I created awareness around this by doing these presentations. This is the fourth time I've given this presentation. It's kind of evolved over that as we've gotten more information and again, lessons learned. I had it for our operations side of the house so that they were aware if they started, because people were essentially calling some of our clinics asking about employment. And so, we wanted to make sure we had a standard message. We responded to these people with a legal approved, HR approved response, making them aware that, yes, this is a scam. We looked at different things on our job posting sites. Can we put up something that indicates this is, an actual job posting? Not necessarily possible, because if they're just going to scrape it, they're going to scrape it. But if you could put in like a valid link or something, I don't know. We were looking for all sorts of ideas that we could kind of try to stop, this kind of scam from happening. It was because it did take up quite a bit of my team's times, and HR and legal had to all look over this. And then, we have to answer to clients too. So we have to make sure that we have all our talking points. But I did it for operations people. I did it for our talent acquisition people so that they're aware of it, because essentially they're being impersonated to conduct a scan, right? And then I have a monthly corporate lunch and learn that I also presented this at to try to give people in the company a heads up that this is the kind of thing that's happening and can happen. And more of this stuff is probably going to happen as we continue to grow as a company. Another thing that I would definitely recommend is having your talent acquisition people turn on multi-factor authentication for the public facing accounts. This is both any work accounts and personal accounts that they have. And if they have personal accounts, make it private. And the reason for that is, like, shortly, this all kind of evolved again, is that we saw one of our talent acquisition people being phished for their LinkedIn profile. They caught it, they reported it to us, so good on them. You can see it's using webflow.io. It's pretty much saying view this document. This would lead to this landing page that looked like LinkedIn. There was a warning on the site, so that's good. I think a lot of the tooling and browsers are getting better at catching this stuff quicker and quicker to try and identify it, but it's still, allowing you to go through. And our folks were able to continue on with, going through this. So this is one of the things that we do when we get phishing emails, is we actually put in fake credentials just to see what would happen. You can see joint wobbly patterns dot whatever .co or REPL, REPL.co. And then if you go to the post for this is interesting. It's it doesn't go to that site, right? I've seen a lot of these phishing emails. It goes to universalprinting.com.au, right? That's just shady in itself. It's a WordPress site, and it's not good. And I've seen a lot of these phishing emails where they'll open like another pop-up window, and that goes to a different domain. So this is where we use like a Zap, OWASP Zap, as the proxy to capture this traffic, because we can record it, look at it. We don't use the Zap attack proxy to attack the website at all. We just try to capture that information. I think you can use this with like something like Fiddler, Burp, of course. And you can kind of see this. And then what we do with a lot of this information is that we'll go search our SIEM to see if we see any traffic going to these sites, because then, especially post. So for people that don't know the difference between a post and a get is pretty much everything in the URL. Post is more, you can see there, it's in the request itself. And so it also, it looks like it went through 3 different URLs to get to the actual phish. And then once that happens, the person is rerouted to I think it was like a LinkedIn actual file. So that's what a lot of people do too, is they'll actually just link it to some kind of actual file. And so setting up wire accounts is one thing, but getting like a legitimate LinkedIn account is just something entirely else. And makes it just much more legitimate. So, you got to be careful for that. And that we don't know if this was the same thing or if this was something different, right? This could be they caught us taking down their wire accounts, and now they're going to switch to trying to get our actual legitimate LinkedIn account. So after we saw this, I reached out to our talent acquisition folks, said, if you need help setting a multi-factor, please do so. Would highly recommend it. And I showed them all these slides and nasty things. So kind of blew through that. Not really much else there, so I won't go further. I'm sure Kyle is now scrambling to get back into the room. I'm hoping there's a lot of questions. What I like about in person, and you kind of lose here, is the interaction, and that's kind of what I really try to shoot for. So,
yeah, I think that's the hardest part of doing a virtual conference so far, is that speaker interaction between your audience, and like when you connect with something, a topic, even a joke, whether it actually landed or not.
I have no idea if it landed. It's very.
Yep.
I've gotten used to it now after doing this kind of stuff for 7 months. But yeah, it's I can't wait to get back in person.
Yeah, it's tough. Currently, don't have any pending questions that I see in YouTube or Discord. I know that I can relate to a lot of what you're talking about with a lot of the phishing emails that we've been seeing, a lot of the different weird techniques that people have been using, where it's a PDF or it's a OneDrive link somewhere, which is totally legit, which OneDrive is going to be used everywhere in a company, so you're not going to block it per se. And so like I can tell you I can't tell you how many times that just like having a good proxy in place has
Mm-hmm.
saved our butts so
Yep.
many times, just because like someone gets a phishing email, they found out some other way to get through, they click it, and then it tries to download that next stage and it gets blocked by our proxy. So
Yeah, blocking, yeah, geo blocking, like that, that like you saw a lot of the .co, the .au, like geo blocking stops that. And the reason why we're able to get by that is we have our separate laptop. It's a Mac, of course, a separate laptop that doesn't have our company's image on it. And I have like a MiFi I'll use to connect to it, or just something not on the network, on the company's network. Because if you're gonna go click on links, um, and yeah, this is how we have Zap loaded on there. We've got some other tooling loaded on there. It's like, lesson learned here was people just started opening the PDFs. I was like, has anybody checked them before we started opening them? And they're like, no. So they went and checked them. And yeah, even having a good email gateway too has started blocking these things. That's something else I've seen, is that our email
proof point.
gateway. Yeah, yeah, I can't confirm nor deny if that's something that we use or not. But yeah, that's been really great, and it can be a pain in the ass too to try and get around some of that stuff. But yeah, that's where they have like a decoder, and you're able to go grab the original link, and that's where we get this research. And I like presenting. I think, we talk about security awareness, but it's never like the top priority for people. And so it's almost like we have personal projects at work. It's almost my personal project to try and talk about this stuff and bring some awareness around. And it's also like I think everybody in security, that's why we don't have any questions, is like, yeah, I've seen this before. Yeah, go away. But like people outside of security, people in HR, people, like I said, our talent acquisition folks were freaked out about this, and we kind of had to walk them through about good digital hygiene and put on multi-factor. And yes, anyone can be a target. I've seen everybody from executives to managers and individual contributors being impersonated for these types of attacks. So it's some interesting stuff, and especially at this point, and no one's obfuscation is not a thing.
Yeah. And again, it's always invest in your employees and provide them training and opportunities to learn and grow about
Mm-hmm.
how these attacks work, what they look like, and if we just got that right in your organization, you're already like a mile ahead of the rest, because it's tough to do right, but there's a
Right.
lot of great solutions out there that can make that easier for you too. So
Yep. Yeah. And we have our own internal phishing program. We fish the entire company. We've got over at this point 6,000 employees, and we fish everybody once a month, right? And then we do some more targeted stuff. I hit the executives all the time because our CEO is like, bring it. And that's really great working at a company that's very security focused and things like that. So
do you actually keep like a metric dashboard of like the monthly phishing results and like which organizations are doing better than others, or?
I'd like to. Yeah, I mean the problem with that is always time, right? And I love doing phishing stuff, and I was running with it, but for me to go monthly, I had to delegate to one of my guys who it's his personal project. He's actually my security engineer, so I have 2 security engineers, an AppSec person, and 2 pen testers. And the pen testers were the ones that didn't want to fish. I was like, what the heck, man? I just want to go hack stuff. So my security engineer was like, hey, I'm interested in this, and so I was like, yeah, run with it. And so we've gotten into a cadence now where we fish people a month for this very reason, right? And it also identifies a risk, and it also shows us that it's there. No matter how dumb it is, right? There's people are going to people are going to fall for this stuff. So I'd rather them fall for me. And we try to take the approach of not calling out people. I know it's funny, a lot of people in IT want me to call out people, but I'm like, the only people I might call out are security people. We have this big orange cone that I bought, and if a security person gets popped, we'd put it on their desk, which to me was kind of a bit of shaming. So I actually stopped doing that. But it's something important, and I think it's just often overlooked as a security awareness side of things. And I feel like the phishing program falls into that. It's practice. It's not we're trying to get people either. It's practice, and we're pulling stuff from our security inbox and testing these people with it, right? We're actually not, sometimes we use a template, other times we just, grab what we're seeing internally because that's what's coming in right now.
Yeah.
So, and the thing with this job scam was, I feel like we tried to go as far as we could with it. I mean, there's a liability concern, certainly from a legal aspect. Did you do everything you could to stop it? If we're putting in takedowns and things like that, you kind of get it there. But just from a trying to be, good stewards of a brand, and also, you don't want people scammed. It sucks. People could have quit jobs if people gave up thousands of dollars to the scam. They started with the 350 and worked their way from there. It sucks, for them, and it's awful. And especially in this stressful time of staying at home and the job market, with where it is and uncertainty and things like that. People are kind of scared, and that's where you kind of overlook some of this dumb things and those red flags that say this is a scam. I think most people would get it, would identify it as a scam, but still there's that 10% or lower that makes it profitable for these scammers. And
Yeah.
you saw how elaborate it is too. I've never seen anything that elaborate where they actually did research and they're having conversations and having them do stuff to just kind of, getting them invested in, oh, well, I've already done this work. So, it's crazy.
Yeah, and it's worth their time and effort because they just need one.
Right. And you won, and yeah, $10,000 a month. I'd be in for that.
Right.
I'm not going to go scam people out of it. And that's the other thing. People ask me, like, why would people do that? Well, a lot of these scammers justify it by, well, if I can get their money out of them, then they don't deserve to have it, right? So it's not, they've flipped that moral switch in their head, right? Where it's they've justified it essentially, even though they're doing an awful thing.
Yeah. All right. Well, I don't have any other questions for you, so thank
Cool.
you very much, Tim. I appreciate you coming and talking.
Thank you.
All right.